Would you like to know how to make your next favorite Christmas decoration easily and in your own unique style? Then stay tuned. Hi, this is Bianca, and I'm so happy you're here again today. As you already saw in the intro, we're going to take a look at these beautiful spiral Christmas trees. You can make them in all kinds of styles, for example, like this one here in the more vintage literary look, or decorated with beads of your choice, or with a simple cord. The ones I'm showing today are mostly vintage themed, but you can also use artificial thin pine branches so the trees turn out green, or you can use colored string, whatever fits your taste and your home decor. And the best part is that I made sure that the tree toppers are interchangeable. You can go with a classic star, or for example, this angel shape, or anything else that comes to your mind. Maybe you have a certain traditional Christmas ornament that you can trace. That would work too. There are really no limits to your creativity here. So let's get started. You'll need craft wire that's flexible and easy to shape, pliers to cut and bend the wire, hot glue or regular glue, and beads or whatever you'd like to wrap around your wire. Alright, let's begin. I want to make another tree like the one with the letter cubes. I really like that one. And for that, I'm using my thickest craft wire. I have 3 types, thin, medium, and thick. And here I'm going with the thick one, as I already said. And you'll just have to see which thickness works best for you, depending on what you plan to thread onto it. And I've already pre-cut a piece about 45 to 50 centimeters long, which makes a tree roughly the size I showed earlier, about hand-sized, which I think is perfect. And of course you can make it longer for a bigger tree or shorter for a smaller one, like you can see here in comparison, but I'll just stick to the about 50 centimeter one. To start, I just bend one end of the wire so the beads won't fall off while I'm threading them on. And then you simply fill the wire all the way up with whatever materials you have. And if you have letter beads, you could even spell out words like Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or any favorite words. Or you can do what I did and just put them on randomly. Or if you only have beads, not like normal beads, you can also just make some nice patterns, whatever you like. And I'm leaving a bit of space at the top because we still need room for the tree topper. And this is what my letter cube wire looks like now. And next comes the shaping part. It might look a little messy at first, but it's actually easier when the beads are already on the wire. The first time that I crafted this tree, I shaped the wire first and then added the beads. But if the wire gets tight curves because of the shaping, the beads stop sliding down easily. So I figured out it's just best to put them on the craft wire first and then bend it. And now I'm forming a spiral upwards, with each loop getting a little smaller so the tree really looks like a tree. And that's the rough shape. You can see that right here. You can see how the circles get smaller towards the top. So again, that's the rough shape, and now we'll do some fine-tuning. Alright, that's it. I like how that looks now, and here you can see it from above, how it gets wider toward the bottom. And it also didn't hurt that I removed a few cubes earlier because everything shifted up a bit anyway. And I can add one more bead now, and then I just take my pliers and bend the top straight upward. So the star or topper will stand upright later. Now for the decorative topper. Use whatever shape you want. I'm going with a star again. And you also have to keep in mind that you'll have to adjust size depending on your tree. My smaller tree right here obviously needs smaller stars than the big one right here. And here's also a little tip, because I personally, for whatever reason, can't draw stars freehand. They always turn out so crooked. And that's my trick that I use for that problem. You just need a phone, tablet, or computer screen that lights up and paper that's not too thick, so it's a bit see-through. And then you pull up a picture of a star on your screen or whatever you want to draw, and then you adjust it to the size you want and then trace it directly from the screen. And the thinner the paper, the better the result. I've done that here. You can faintly see my traced little star, and I'm going to use it later for the string tree version too. Now, I've made both a small and a large star, or I've drawn them onto the paper, and now I'm going to cut that out. And you'll need 2 identical pieces for each topper, one for the front and one for the back. Now let's move in a bit closer for the next step. You'll need tape or glue, whatever you prefer. I'm using tape because my glue dried out, and honestly I don't feel like cleaning a brush today for my other glue. So for that way with the tape, I cut tiny pieces out of tape and now I fold them over so they stick to themselves. And then I place them on one of the star shapes. And here just make sure there's no glue or tape where the wire will slide in. So you want a little gap down the middle. And then just stick the second star shape on top, and that's it. That's our little clip-on topper that you can easily place on your tree. And that's also what I love about this idea. You can make as many different toppers as you like, and then you can simply switch them out depending on your mood or decoration theme. Now let's move on to the small twine tree. For this one, I'm using a 20 centimeter wire and some nice jute string. I'll secure one end of the string with hot glue, but you can also use regular glue. Just hold it in place for a few seconds then until it sets so it doesn't slip while wrapping. And then just wrap the string tightly all the way around until you reach the top. And here again, leave a little bit of wire free for the topper. And just secure the last bit of string with glue. And then cut off the extra end. Now, just like before, shape your wire into gradually smaller loops to form a tree shape. And I'd love to hear your ideas in the comments. What else could you wrap around the wire? Earlier I mentioned maybe pine greenery or colorful thread, but I bet you can come up with even more creative ideas. And let me know so I can expand my collection of mini decorative Christmas trees. And now, just like before, finish off your tree with one of the toppers you made, and your second cute Christmas tree is done. And here I've bent the trees back a bit so you can see them clearly from above on camera. And I really like how they turned out. And of course you can make as many loops as you like. When you craft your tree, just make sure that the circles get smaller toward the top for that classic tree shape. Oh, and another idea, if you find a short string of fairy lights, you could wrap it around the spiral afterwards. That would look kind of magical at night on your windowsill. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this little DIY, maybe got some inspiration, and hopefully you'll spend a cozy afternoon crafting again. Because it doesn't always have to be about paper and junk journals. Sometimes it's fun to just make something like this. Have fun creating and see you next time.